And now we welcome on Shireen Williams from Pro Football Talk. You can also follow her on Twitter at NFL Shireen. That's Charean. Shireen, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's so great to have you, Shireen. So let's dive right into it here. I've been studying up on the Cowboys. So has Dan, but we want you to take us a little deeper into it. And first of all, it just looks to me like this record could be reversed. I mean, is this a 1-2 football team right now?
You know, Bill Parcells always said, you are what your record says you are. So that's what they are. But they could have won all three of these games. They could have lost all three of these games. And frankly, the one game that they won is the one game they should have lost, definitely. Because of all the Falcons had to do was fall on the onside kick, and they didn't do that. I think that was a gift game for them. So probably should have lost that game and perhaps won the Rams game if Mike McCarthy decides to kick the field goal late and tie that one and take it into overtime. Might have gone into overtime, should have probably gone into overtime. Maybe they win that game, and then the Seattle game was winnable as well. But they're giving up too many points on defense, I think, to be a legitimate contender at this point.
We've been trying to figure out, can the Browns get into the apparent shootout that it's going to take for them to win this football game? So tell us a little bit about how is Dak doing, and, you know, all of those receivers and what this offense is all about right now.
Well, the problem, Mary Kay, I think they've had so far is time of possession, and it's not been very good because they've been throwing the ball so much, and they love their three weapons, and they're very talented. We know that. After they drafted CeeDee Lamb to join Michael Gallup, who I think is their best receiver. I think he's better than Amari Cooper, even though they paid the $100 million contract to Amari Cooper. But we know they have those weapons, and they've used them. And Dak Prescott has been generally pretty good, 450 yards over the last two games. I mean, he leads the league in passing yards. But I think they need to try to run the ball more for the time of possession to be better, to keep that defense off the field, because the defense is so bad. They're terrible. So you've got to do something to try to keep them off the field. And they're also turning the ball over way too much, 6 turnovers so far. So it's just getting that defense back on the field, back on the field, back on the field. So they've got to try to do that. The problem for them is obvious, is the offensive line. You know, both tackles have been out, and this is not the same offensive line that we remember from 2, 3, 4 years ago that we all deemed was the best in the NFL. When Cowboys fans see the name Adrian Claiborne, they fear him because they know what he did against them the last time Tyron Smith missed a game, Chaz Green started, and Adrian Claiborne had his way with Dak Prescott, was all over the backfield. So people may not respect Adrian Claiborne. I guarantee you Cowboys fans do, and they're shaking in their boots right now, probably more than when you mentioned the name Myles Garrett.
Yeah, well, he did not practice today. Adrian Claiborne did not. So, I mean, I think he's probably going to try to play. I think he's getting some, just some midweek rest with the hip. But you never know. I mean, he's not 100% either right now.
Well, and Myles, we know what Myles can do, and this is going to be a very difficult matchup for the Cowboys, both offensively and defensively. And I think that offensive line, we may see them struggle a little bit against these pass rushers. Seattle doesn't have the pass rush that Cleveland does, and Dak had a fairly clean pocket against Seattle and was able to make some plays, obviously, down the field. But this is the best pass rush I think that he's played this year, and it's going to be a challenge.
Do you have a gut feeling on who's going to win this football game?
I honestly think the Browns are going to win this game. The Cowboys, as we said, could be 0-3, and did not play very good at home until the end of that Atlanta game. And they're going to have some fans in the stands, but it's irrelevant really to what we're talking about, home field advantage. So I think this is a really bad matchup for the Cowboys in every way, because I think the Browns are going to be able to score points, and I think those pass rushers for the Browns are going to be able to get to Dak Prescott. So I think it's a terrible matchup for the Cowboys. I think it's going to be a close game. I don't necessarily know that it's going to be a shootout, but both teams score in that 27-24 range, somewhere in there. But I think the Browns pull this one out.